G'day and welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of my Ekco A355 Radio. This radio was donated to the channel by Geoff in Worthing. It goes by the name of GT Geoff on the chats. He sent it to Graham, the radio cruncher.
G'day.
Graham did a bit of a test on it before he mailed it over to me.
It works!
In part 1 I was disappointed to see the dial glass had cracked, and that was due to the glass mounting being bent back and possibly during manufacture or a subsequent repair. In the end I managed to reproduce a reasonable facsimile of the glass. I found the tuning was seized up and I had to go through the whole thing and loosen up all the components, but eventually it was working okay. So this week I'll do all the normal things I do, the electrolytics of course, check the resistors, make sure everything's okay. The filter capacitor's here. It has two 50 microfarad capacitors inside it. Now normally I restuff these, but there's so much room in here I'm not going to bother. I think I can fit a tab strip down here on the little bracket that's sticking up there. I'll take those wires off and solder this on there and put the wires back on. And with the capacitor on there, I think that'll fit. Yeah, that'll be alright. That'll fit in there nicely. This one has a resistor here from what will be the B+, so that's probably on the screen. That'll be screen voltage. I do have a 10 microfarad here. I can put that in there. That'll clamp in nicely. This capacitor here, that wire there is coming over from the volume control. So that's probably a coupling capacitor, but it's got a metal shield on it, so it's shielded. That's going to ground there if you can see it. So I'll need to make a shielded capacitor for that. This one here, I can just read it here. It says 2 microfarad, so that's the FM balancing capacitor, so that needs to be replaced. This one here is the bypass capacitor for this output valve. There's the bypass resistor, and that's the capacitor for it. Now the capacitor that I'm going to fit is a little bit smaller than that, so I'll probably just leave that in situ and I'll mount this down here. It can probably go parallel to this resistor here. Now that's rated at 25 volts. I don't know what the grid voltage is, but it won't be 25 volts, so 25 volts will be plenty. Leave it with me. I'll put some new capacitors in here to replace this filter capacitor here, and this one here. This one here I'll leave there, but I'll mount that little capacitor there. I'll come back when I do this one and we'll work out how I'm going to wrap it, which I'm not sure how to do yet. I've almost finished replacing the capacitors. I've done the 2 filter caps here. This one here, the old filter cap, is still here, but it's not in circuit. I've left that resistor there and put a new one in there. Once again, that's not in circuit. I fitted one of M Caldeira's little rectifier and voltage dropper boards here. They work very well. It rectifies the AC and also uses a MOSFET to drop the voltage with a little adjuster there, so very, very easy to use. I've replaced this filter capacitor and the resistor. The old resistor wasn't long enough, so I put a new one in there. This capacitor here has been bypassed. It's not actually connected anymore. And I've hidden the replacement under this cathode bypass resistor. I also replaced the FM smoothing cap. There was another capacitor up here. I replaced that as well. I checked all the resistors. They're all fine. They're always a bit high, but they were well within the 10%, so I'm happy to leave them there. Manuel's rectifier underneath has replaced this metal rectifier on the top. I've left it intact and I've left all the wires on it. They're not going anywhere. It's not in circuit, but I've left it there for originality. There's still 3 capacitors to do. 2 of them are like this. The other one's on the volume control. This is a shielded capacitor, so I've got to try and reshield the new one. I think it's 0.01 capacitance. So I'll pull that out and we'll have a look and see how I'm going to do it. I've removed the capacitor. It's a 0.01 at 350 volts. So it's just a capacitor with a sleeve around it and an earth point. I've done these in the past with various methods, but I think I'll just use aluminium tape this time. I need to be able to ground that, so what I thought I might do is just wrap some wire around this screwdriver shank, which is a little bit smaller diameter. That should do. The idea being that I can just wind that on there. It's not quite as tight as I'd hoped. No, it's not bad. Just bend that down there. I'll put some heat shrink around it. I'll just write the value of the capacitor if I can. It's not very neat. There we go. I'll shrink it on. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that'll work all right. So I'll put that back in. I still have another one to do. I'll do that off camera and come back. I replaced that other shielded cap that was on here, and I've replaced it the same as I did earlier, and there was a Hunt's capacitor here, and when I checked it, that was out of spec, so I've put a new one there. It's on dim bulb, so I'll put some power on. I need to select one of the keys. I think that's medium wave. Well, the lights work. The dim bulb's okay. There's some noise.
Earlier this afternoon, they were lowered to safety. No one was hurt. Coast basketball star is set to become the next big thing in the NBA. Literally. Rocco Sikorsky will return to the US next week to begin his first pre-season camp as Braden Chase.
Sounds alright for a medium wave.
But he will apply pressure to both Luke Brooks and Jamal Fogarty next year. So.
Standing at 7 foot 4 inches tall, he'll get to share the court with current NBA All-Stars.
Truth Government rebate, call Fallon Solution 65776 and S478 6000.
Well, it's working alright. It's still on dim bulb. We've only got 182 volts there, 83. FM was that one. May not work with that voltage. No, there it is.
Sure, fully electric when you don't. Cherry Super Hybrid for the room.
Explore our range of gas or charcoal pans and pizza ovens. Perfect for dads who love
Park Cloaker motorway and also Carl Street Goodness from the Ipswich motorway. Maybe.
Area about family and there's El.
the 69-year-old this time.
It's getting all the stations.
On Sunday, Monday.
That's alright, I'll put it back down this end, not sure why. So it's all working.
My second favourite part of the week.
It doesn't need a full alignment, it's working perfectly. The only thing I need to check is the balance on the FM ratio detector. I did change that smoothing cap in there, so I'll just check that. So to check the voltages, I've got to turn the radio up, at least on its back. I've turned the radio upside down so I can get to the voltage trimmer. I've got on full power and 240 volts going in. It's on AM, and for AM we should have 260 volts. So let's see what we've got. It's actually 258. Yeah. I've got the screwdriver on there. I've got a bit of heat shrink there to stop it falling off. I'll see if I can get it up to 260 volts. That's perfect. I'll check the FM discriminator balance, and that's because I changed this capacitor down here. I'm not going to set up oscilloscopes and wobulators. It's really a confidence check. I think it's actually perfectly alright. When I replaced this capacitor, I replaced one that was not working with one that is working, so it should go back to its original alignment. Quick look at the schematic. That's the coil we're going to adjust. It's L19, so that's the last one of the IF cans in the FM chain. The capacitor I replaced is here, and its job is to just cut off any AM that's on top of the frequency modulated signal. This will trim off the top and bottom so you don't get any amplitude modulation noise, thunder, lightning, whatever, on top of the FM signal. That's all been chopped off, and that capacitor and that resistor does that for us. These two rails of the discriminator need to be balanced so that when the waveform crosses in the center, it lines up perfectly with the bottom part of the waveform. If these aren't balanced, the waveform doesn't quite line up when it goes through the center. So I can use this AM rejection part here as a quick check. When this is balanced, the AM rejection is at its peak, so we'll get minimum AM through when that's balanced. I have the FM key selected on. I have my signal generator set at 10.7 and it's on FM, but I'll put it on AM and we'll send an AM modulated signal through. I've turned the speaker on so I can hear it, and I'll put the modulated signal through, and you can hear it there, I hope. This is one I need to adjust, L19. I'll turn the sound up so I can hear it. You just hear the tone there, and I'll try and remember that angle there that it's at already. And it's increasing. I'm just turning it anti-clockwise. I'll go clockwise now, and you can hear it come up now. I'll go back. It's about there. It's back where it was. So I'm happy with that. I'll check the RF alignment. I'll check the RF alignment, which is the position of the pointer on the dial glass. So I'll put my new dial glass in. I've realigned all the brackets, so now it's sitting flush on the bracket. There's 4 little clips, one in each corner, that goes on there. I've done the preliminary setup on the needle. Actually, I haven't changed anything, it's the same as it was. So the needle should be there. The gang for the AM should be there. You can just see it through the back there. This is the FM induction tuning, and that needs to be 1/32 away from bottomed when that gang is fully closed and the needle is fully at this end. So that's okay. Now, I have the FM alignment instructions that Graham included with the radio when he sent it, and it says to align the FM, put it on 93 megahertz in the center here somewhere, but there's no indication of where 93 is. There's no dot, there's not even a little dash or something in the window, so it's a guess as to where it is. The range here is not equally distant, so from here to here is bigger than from here to here. There's no way of knowing where 93 is, so I'm not sure what they were thinking. All I can do is maybe just check it at say 96 and 98 or 100, probably just go to 100 I suppose. If it's okay on those extremes, then it's still okay, I don't have to worry about anything. I'll put the generator on 100 megahertz, there's that one there. Put it on FM. I'll put it on 400 so it's not too painful. Turn the volume up and we'll tune over to 100, which is down there. That looks spot on, spot on. Turn that down. So I'll reset the generator to 86. Wind the tuning down to 86. Better turn it up. There's the harmonic. Looks about right. That's very close. May not quite be in the center, but it's close enough. Alright, that'll do for that. I'll set it up and we'll do the AM. I'll check the AM. So I'll put it on 600 kilocycles. I better put it on, oh, it's on AM. Now put it on 500 meters. That's the same as 600 kilocycles. It's pretty close. I'll put this on 1500 kilocycles and wind the dial up to 15. And we'll go up to 200. Let's turn that down. So we're just a tiny bit out. Is it worth worrying about? Maybe. I'll adjust that. There's 2 trimmers mounted on the tuning capacitor. The one nearest my finger is the oscillator, so I'll adjust that. So I'll just put the pointer right on the 0 there. Let's see if I can bring it back with this. There we go. Might as well adjust the antenna while I'm here to match it. There we go. I'm just doing all this by ear, of course. Okay, we'll go back to 600 and check it down there again. And that was 500. I'll put the generator on 600 again. Let's see how far out it is. Oh gosh. I don't really want to adjust that because it means it'll upset the antenna. Let's see if I can bring it back a smidge. That's the oscillator coil, I didn't mention that. That's the oscillator coil I'm adjusting. That's close enough. To adjust the antenna coil, of course you've got to adjust this one. It's glued on. I don't suppose it's going to move. Oh look, I don't really want to play around with that. No, it's stuck tight. I barely moved that oscillator coil, so I'll just leave that as it is. I'm going to call the AM alignment done as well. Now that the radio chassis is finished, I can have a look at the case. It's in pretty good condition. I'm not going to do anything to it apart from clean it up. The timber work itself is in pretty good condition. This is probably the worst area here on the top. It's got a couple of little scuff marks. I can colour them out. On the front here you can see the cutouts for the speakers, and that's because it's pulling air in and out as it works. I might see if I can remove that, and then I can wash it properly, put it in a trough or something and give it a bit of a scrub. The rest of it looks pretty good. A little dent there, I can't do much with that. There's some gum residue from the tape that Graham used to cover that dial, so that'll come off easily. I'll probably clean the woodwork up with a bit of shellite and a scour or something just to get the muck off from 65 years and just dust out the back. The grill that I want to clean is mounted on this board, and there's just some screws along here. I think it'll just come out. If it doesn't, I'll just leave it there. I'll see how easy these screws are going to come out. That's not too bad. Sometimes you can't get them out. That one's come out all right. Another one here. Yeah, they're coming out okay. Let me get those out and we'll see if the front will come off. And there's a couple of little Phillips screws down the bottom here. Alright, I ended up taking those blocks off the side there, and I think it slides in. It's got grooves in here, and this board is going into the grooves. So I think it slides out the top there. So I'll have to take the speakers off and the Magic Eye bracket here. I'll remove those. I was going to take them off anyway, so it just means I've got to do it now. I've removed all that stuff, and I should push up. There we go. Ah, okay. Try not to scratch the wood on the side here. Okay. It appears the mesh is glued to the bit of wood, so I'll have to use a brush and some soapy water. I won't be able to soak it in the trough or anything, but I'll be able to clean it like that. This front piece seems to come off with a couple of screws, so I've gone this far, I might as well take that off as well. That's interesting, that maybe originally down here was a maple colour, and that's discoloured to the brown. I don't know, that's definitely maple. And down where that decorative piece was, it's maple down there too. Maybe this whole inside here was maple at one point. I'll spend a few minutes just cleaning this up, getting all the dust out, wipe it down, make it nice and clean, and we can start working on the finish. I have a scourer here and a bit of shellite. I'll just tip a bit of that on there. And that should clean off any, oh, that's a lot of shellite. That should clean off any waxes, nicotine or whatever's on there. It'll also take off some of the scuff marks that are on there too. I'll wipe that off. It may dull that off a bit, but that's okay. It's got most of the marks off. It's left one there, and there's a little one there, so not so bad. I'll do the ends and the front as well. To rejuvenate the wood, I'll use some of this Howard Restorer finish. This works pretty well. It's pretty impressive actually. This just puts a light coat of colour on it, and it looks really good. It works well. It fills up or disguises a lot of the little dents and scuffs and things. I've let it dry for a few minutes, and it's hidden most of the imperfections. It's still got the two major ones there, but they're not really noticeable. It is 65 years old, and I don't want to do the whole cabinet, so I think that looks very, very nice. I'll do the sides and the front. I have to let it dry for a while, and I'll put the polish on the top. It's been sitting here for about 20 minutes, so it's about the finish that it's going to come up. And gee, it looks good. That Howard Restorer finish just does such a good job at restoring this sort of work where you don't want to refinish it. It just looks a bit tatty and tired, and it brings it back very, very nice. I did all this and I forgot to turn my mic on, so there was no audio. What I've done is put some of this Howard feed and wax on it. It's got beeswax, Carnauba wax and orange oil in it. You don't have to use that. Anything with Carnauba wax will do it, but you do have to cover the Restorer finish with the wax. So I've applied this to all the woodwork, and you let it dry for about 20 minutes, then you just wipe it off with a cloth. You come back when this is dried, which is a couple of hours, and you just give it a buff and it'll come up nice and shiny. So I've already done all that. So I'm at the stage now where I've wiped off the excess. I'll let it sit for a couple of hours and then I'll buff it off. This has been drying for a couple of hours now, so I'm just giving it a very quick buff. And the top looks great. It looks really good. It does have that normal crazing you get with these finishes, but no, it looks fantastic. Even those defects there don't stand out too much. I cleaned all this up. I used a bit of kitchen spray and just a brush and cleaned it all up. That's come up pretty well. There's a couple of little marks there. They came out. And I've cleaned that up as well, all the gum that was on there. So I'll put it all back together and I'll take it inside and we can put the chassis in. I'm going to put the chassis back in. Before I do, I'll just show you I changed the capacitor here. It's a little crossover capacitors for the two speakers. It had this capacitor in here, which is a Hunt, and it's a fully enclosed plastic one, and it says metallized. So I thought it'd be all right, but it's actually no good. There was another one in the radio, that's a 0.1, and that was all right. So I assumed this 0.5 one would be okay too, but it was nowhere near it. So it just goes to show. And you may have caught a glimpse of the writing here when I was in the workshop. It says the volume control was replaced, which I noticed when I was changing some of the capacitors. And it was from Egan Electric in Canby Island in Essex. It says down the bottom there it was replaced in August in 1965. I looked up Egan Electric, of course it doesn't exist anymore. But here's a photo of the building in 1970. I'm ready to refit the chassis. I've connected the speaker wires and I can get the magic eye in there as well. I'll line that up later. So I can push it all the way in now. This directional tuner hooks up inside here and there's a screw that you got to try and capture. Oh boy. There we go. To get on it, I've got this uber long screwdriver. I finally got on the end there. I had to use the camera. I can't even see in there. Anyway, there we go. What's going on? There's another impossible one up the front. I'll do that. I've got to put the bolts in down the bottom, then we'll put the back on. Before I put the back on, the radio had stickers all over the place just denoting all the components. I hung onto this one because I think that's important to keep there. It's got the voltages for the transformer. Alright, I can refit the back. Put a couple of screws in down the bottom already to locate it. Right, it's just a matter of putting the rest of the screws in and plug in the FM antenna. I'm attempting to get the knobs on, and I've been working on this one for a few minutes and I think it's finally going on. It's so tight. And the center knob there. Okay. This one's the volume knob. The clear glass or the clear plastic is in pretty good condition. Gee, they don't want to go on. Okay. I've had other UK radios from the past and this clear area here was just yellow or falling apart. So this is pretty good. Wow, these nuts are tight. Oh gosh. Alright, all done. It's all done, but I forgot to align the magic eye, so I'll have to take the back off, put some power on, I'll align it, I'll come back and we'll give it a test drive. Alright, let's try it out. I'll put it on medium wave. I'll just give it a few seconds to warm up. It's warmed up. Oh.
You have no idea. No idea. It's like when you try and log on to Centrelink and it says, what's your note? Oh, the MyGov app. Oh, that's it. That's the one. Oh my God. TN, blah, blah, blah. That's...
Sounds good.
And it gone. Yes, and every time...
Now. Because when a Queenslander reckons they can, odds are they will. And we'll be right there to help.
Why can't they exist? Why can't the traditional disciplines be generation?
Stickers, but interior chop bolts in from I'm Cheeky Thing.
I didn't change the magic eye. It's still okay. It's not 100%, but it's not too bad.
Big winner, number 8.
Mo's home. Call 33562563 or visit angelsinaprons.com.au. It's all about...
Now that's our music station, which is hard to get. It is early evening. Well, it's about 6 o'clock, I think.
Visit kia.com.au to find out more about the 7...
So it's picking up stations pretty well.
Movement that inspires.
I'll just run up here. Yeah, so it's got stations further up. So it's usually no stations at all. I usually can't pick up anything from that racing station we went past. Let's put it on FM.
Specs and specs.
20 years of specs and specs.
You get a front row seat.
Rise and shine on Vision.
On Rise and Shine, our chappies will be here, Mark and Cindy, and we're going to ask them about how they hear.
Sounds good.
5 a.m. via 91.7 FM, the ABC Gold Coast Listen app, or DAB+.
Tracks for all your needs in one location. Shop.
Serious firepower to be built down. ABC News. Hello, I'm Ryan Howard. Finance Minister Katie Gallagher says...
So it's picking up a multitude of the ABC News that he's just coming on about. So that'll be from different transmitters around, so they're overlapping themselves, or overlapping other stations.
The government was running a migration program aimed at Labor-leaning Indian migrants.
Tone works.
The Northern Territory Senator stopped short of apologising when addressed...
Always read the label and follow the directions.
Now, something I haven't tried is my station, or the local station, is 100.3, and this only goes to 100, I believe. So I didn't actually check to see if it would make it. So there's 100.
School
there it
and
is.
at a home at Dover Heights. Liberal Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price is refusing to...
So it's picking up 103. I've still got a bit of room there, actually. I can go a bit further than that.
...favours Indian migrants to shore up the party's vote. Members of the Indian community have been offended.
It sounds good. The music sounds fine. It's not distorted. That's where you usually pick up distortion from that FM balance that I did. If that was out, you would get distortion. So, because it's news time, we're not going to get any music. Oh, well, having said that, there it is.
Come on, get lost.
I can't play the music, I'll get pinged. It's not a very good station, actually. I found a bit of music there. We'll turn that up for a second. Sounds perfect. Now, of course, we do have long wave, but there's no long wave station, so I didn't even try that. But the dial looks good. Yeah, it's not quite as good as the original one. I'll turn a few lights off. We'll see what it looks like in the dark. I've completely darkened the room, and you can see it, and you can still see the, the names in the centre there. The light is coming through, so you can still read that. Yeah, that's not bad. So it wasn't a bad option, and you wouldn't know that had a replacement dial. It looks really nice. I'll wrap the video up now. First, I'd just like to thank Graham. What a fantastic job, and he went to so much trouble. It really wasn't fair for him to have to do it. So I'm not going to ask him to do another one. This will be the last one he'll send me. And of course, a big thanks to GT Geoff. What a guy. I mean, he just sends me a radio all that way. Amazing. And I've met so many amazing people doing this hobby. It's been very gratifying in retirement. So once again, thanks Graham, thanks GT Geoff, and thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed what we did this week. I hope you can join me for my next radio adventure.